Hello and welcome to today's video. Now today I'm here at Hebburn Cemetery. I'm going to do some aerial photography of, well, as much of the place as I can, but I'm a bit restricted because it's kind of in the evening and the sun is very low in the sky. So where I'm pointing here in front of us, I won't be to go over that direction too much or right over there, because I'll also lose line of sight if I go over there, probably, and the sun's in my eyes and everything, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do just mainly this area behind us here, and as much as I can really, while it's still light and the sun's out. It's bitterly cold again, once again, unfortunately, but at least it is a bit sunny, so that's the main thing. So without further ado, let's get the drone up in the air. So here we go, up above Hebburn Cemetery, and I don't know if you can notice anything strange about the sky here in this first shot here, but to me it definitely doesn't look right, because back in the day, years ago in the 80s and before then, the sky used to be deep blue, but these days it's never deep blue. It's only ever light blue or light grey. Has anyone noticed? Anyway, I have anyway. Now, as you can see, as I pointed out on my introduction, the sun is quite low in the sky and it's producing some rather long shadows, as you can see here. It makes for quite a good effect, I think. Getting some lens flare here though, as I pan further down. Now, on this section of the cemetery where I've just panned away from, there was a very nice statue on a grave, and I did video that statue, and it's in another video which I haven't put together yet, but that video should come along at some point in the future. Actually, I shot that video like last year, but I'll get round to it eventually. I don't know where it is, but whenever you look at the cemetery, or any cemetery for that matter, from above, it always looks more empty than it actually is. When you're standing on the ground looking at all the gravestones, it always looks like there's tons of them, which there is. But from above, it looks more spacious, do you not think? Like there's less graves and they're not as close together and there's not as many of them, type of thing. Do you not think? Or is it just me? Because that's what I'm kind of noticing. And there's the infamous Hebburn Flats again, the only block left, unfortunately, because they got rid of all the rest of them. Yeah, it's a shame that. I think the videos of the demolitions of those flats are still on YouTube somewhere, but I think they were shot on old tape camcorders, so they're not in digital HD widescreen or 4K or anything, so don't expect anything like that if you go looking for them. And here is the church, or the chapel, in the middle. It's a very nice building, and in front of it there's a large cross with roses around it, and I believe it's pretty much exactly the same or almost identical to the one in Hebburn Cemetery, next to the old part of the Hebburn Cemetery, that is, that leads into the newer part. And if you don't believe us, go and have a look. It's pretty much the same as far as I can tell. Now, I had to be careful here because of all these trees, and I also went to Jarrow Cemetery recently, and I was hoping to take the drone up in there, but I was very unfortunate in the fact that there was just too many trees, so I didn't get to do it in there, unfortunately. So I was a bit gutted about that. So I went across to this other section here, but I don't think I could have gone all the way across it because I was going to lose, well, I don't know whether I would have lost line of sight completely, but it would have been very difficult to see the drone, what with the sun being low in the sky and everything, you know what I'm saying? But look at those shadows. It almost looks like a scene out of some movie or something, doesn't it? There was a film called Mausoleum, which was made in the early 80s, a horror movie set in a cemetery, and the mausoleum in the cemetery, of course. And the opening scenes, the titles, I think, had like a Steadicam shot of someone walking with a Steadicam through the graves in the cemetery. And this looks a little bit like that, because I think the sun was low in the sky on those scenes in the film, on the opening titles as well. So yeah, it looks quite good like that, do you not think? There's still some sort of brownish coloured trees I'm noticing, but those should all become bright green as we get further into the summer. And here we have a very nice view over the houses in Hebburn, and I think you can see in the distance there, I think it's the factories up by Monkton Coke Works, where Monkton Coke Works used to be, shall I say, I should have said. And here's a view where I've just came from with the drone, looking back over, and I'm sitting just to the right of the middle of the top of the screen there, in front of the Kelly Memorial on a metal seat. I think it's made of metal, and the seat I'm sitting on's got like a silhouette of some soldiers in the middle of the back of the seat on it. And I'm up quite high here, as you can probably see. You can see Hebburn Park there, and the houses over there. It's hard to tell what is when you're looking from above like this, high up. Sometimes it takes you a while to figure out what's what, doesn't it? So I know that I think I can see the hang on a minute, I've lost myself. I'm only looking at a small screen here, you know. Well, that's definitely the park on the right here. I don't know what the other bit was. I think it was the football ground area, but there was a bit of the park. And there's Hebburn Hall over there, I think. Yes, and there's the bowling greens next to Hebburn Hall. I did a video in the bowling greens with the drone, and it was a bit windy when I did it. But I was sort of stuck within the bowling green. I couldn't really go anywhere else because of the high winds. And I had to keep lowering the altitude, because it's not safe to keep up the drone too high up in the air when it's pretty damn windy, you know. And there's always seagulls getting in the way, almost colliding with the drone. You have to be very careful with seagulls, because if they hit the drone could possibly come down. So when a seagull heads towards the drone, it's best to either move straight down or straight up, because seagulls can't fly straight down in a straight line or straight up in a straight line like they were in an elevator or something. They can't do that. The drone, however, can go straight up and straight down just like an elevator would, you know. So that's a good thing about drones. If they had wings, however, drones that is, they couldn't do that, I don't think. Just like the seagulls can't, you know what I'm saying? So I'm up pretty high here. I'm not sure how high I was up. It tells you on the screen as I'm flying the drone how high you are, but I don't always notice that, because when you're outside in daylight, it's not easy to see the little numbers on the screen, like, unless you really try to look hard to see them, you know. But most of the time I'm trying to concentrate on flying and lining up the shots and everything, you know what I'm saying. I think I'm coming down a bit lower here because I plan to go lower across the cemetery. Later on I think I'll go even lower, but I can't go too low because I could plough into a tree. But at least in this cemetery you can fly around a bit. I know there's a few trees dotted about in the place, as you can see. And here I was trying circling. I'm still not an expert at circling the drone by any means, and sometimes I go a little bit too fast, and then sometimes I go too slow. Well, actually slow is better, I think. Some shots you could might work for the faster circling, but I think I prefer it slow, to be honest. I don't think me circling was the best here, to be honest. Some of it when I was watching it on my projection screen, big projected with my projector, it was kind of making us go dizzy, to be honest. But it shouldn't be too bad watching it if you're watching it on a smaller screen, like a laptop or I don't know, like a TV of certain size, unless you've got a huge TV like 100 inches or something. Yeah, if you have, you're probably like John Travolta or something, because you know them are expensive, aren't they? So yeah. And you know, I've mentioned this like a million times, or I'll mention it again. I still haven't found me cousin David, me auntie Isabel, and me uncle Billy's grave. I think they're all buried in the same spot. I'm now starting to think that they mustn't have a headstone, a gravestone, and maybe it's unmarked. I keep meaning to contact the people who are responsible for the cemetery, which I believe is the council, I think, and see if they can tell us roughly where they are, where they're buried, but I haven't done that yet. I will get round to it eventually, I'm sure. And there's a seagull here. He lands just on the roof of the chapel there, you see him? Just to the right in the middle, at the bottom of the screen. Yep, there he is. He's perched right on the top of the roof. And there's a cockerel, a weather vane on the top of that steeple there. As you probably already know, if you live in Hebburn, you'll probably be very familiar with that. Because you don't have to climb up there to have a look to see if there's one on there. You can see it from the ground if you've got a pair of binoculars or a telescope, or really good eyesight. In fact, you don't necessarily need the binoculars or the telescope. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm still disappointed, you know, that they lock this cemetery up every night, because well, I don't think there's any real need for it, is there? Because why do they lock it? It's even got security cameras in there. Yeah, fair enough, it's got the security cameras, but why do they need to lock it? Because it doesn't keep vandals out, let's face it. Because if vandals want to get in there, they still can, because all they have to do is climb over the wall. It's not too difficult for vandals or anyone to do that if they want to get in there, right? But so it doesn't really keep vandals out, does it? All it does is keep innocent members of the public out of the cemetery who might want to visit the cemetery at night, you know, for whatever reason. Nothing nefarious, just they like cemeteries, they want to go in. They might even want to visit a family member's grave or a friend's grave in the dark when it's quiet and all that stuff, you know. And some people might want to go in there, such as myself, to make a video, as I often do in certain other cemeteries, the ones that are left open at night. You know what I'm saying? But this one you can't go in. I don't know why. It's not very good, is it? And down there to the right you can see the Kelly Memorial with all the war memorial graves down there. It's very neat, isn't it? They always have the war memorials very neat and tidy, and everything's, you know, in its place perfectly. Everything's symmetrical. You know, perfect. The grass is perfect. The gravestones are perfect. They're all bright white coloured, you know. Just like in Arlington Cemetery, the one you often see in movies and stuff, with all the war memorials. Some of you might not realise this, but a famous actor who's now, well, dead obviously, called Lee Marvin. He was in the film Paint Your Wagon with Clint Eastwood, and he was also in Gorky Park with William Hurt, and another actress, I forgot her bloody name offhand. I quite like her. What's she called again? Damn it. She's very easy on the eye, as I often say. Anyway, Lee Marvin is buried in, I think it's in Arlington Cemetery. If it isn't Arlington, it's one that's similar to that. And he's in a war memorial grave. Lee Marvin, the Hollywood actor, in a war memorial grave, I believe in Arlington Cemetery, or one similar to it. So here I am. I've come down a bit lower here above this part of the cemetery. For some reason I thought me uncle, me auntie and me cousin David might have been buried in this section, but I've been over it with a fine-tooth comb and I still cannot find the grave. I was hoping to find it manually myself just by searching, but I still can't manage to do that for some reason. Now I was heading towards some trees over here, I think. Yeah. Well, I had to stop here, hover the drone for a bit, because I had to stand up from the seat to turn round, because the drone went behind me, behind the seat, and I wouldn't have been able to see it, you see. So I had to turn round so I could still see where I was flying it. And oh no, I'm heading for the tree, oh my god, I'm heading for the tree. Oh, I've stopped. That was a stroke of luck, wasn't it? It wasn't as close as it appeared, actually. The tree, that is. I wasn't going to hit it or anything. So no need to panic. Yeah, well, I just did there because I forgot. Well, not really. I was just pretending. But anyway, there's me down there, just to the left of the upper middle of the screen, in front of the war memorials. Like I said I was. I told you I was there. I wasn't lying. You couldn't tell from up above, up on that higher shot, could you? Because I looked like I was the size of an ant. You couldn't even notice I was there. I just blended into the scenery. You know what I'm saying? Makes you realise just how inconsequential, is that the right word? It's like, it's from high up above, it looks like none of us are really here, you know what I mean? We just look like tiny specks, like little ants, walking around, running around on the ground, you know? So, I'm heading across now between these trees here, back towards the chapel, or is it the church, or is it both? Which is it? Is it a chapel, or is it a church? Or is it both? What's the proper title for that building in the middle of the Hebburn Cemetery? Does anyone know? Because I'm buggered if I do, to be honest with you. Oops, I shouldn't have used that word. Anyway, apologies for that. What I mean is, I don't bloody know which it is. And look how green the grass is here with this sun lighting it up. That's very green, isn't it? If I do say so myself. Yes, and as you can see, there's some nice flowers down there. And you should be able to see some of the nice ornaments on some of those graves. They're in very good condition. That is for sure. And some of them have got them blue shiny stones on, as you might be able to see there. Back in the day, you used to get the ones with the green stones on. I think there's still an odd one got some of them on, maybe. I forget now, there might be. I think I might have saw one down there. Or it could have been something else that was green, I'm not sure. Yeah. So I didn't have much time as I was making this video with the drone, flying it, because it was within about 15 minutes to the place being locked up. And I hate that because I feel like I'm on a ticking time bomb trying to make a video. Because I always managed to get here just in the last few minutes before it shuts. It's always the case, I tell you. It's bloody serious. I'm not joking. And I also found in here a while ago, quite by accident, I found the grave of my cousin Andrew, who is the brother of my cousin Colin. And at first I wasn't sure if it was his grave because I thought he had got cremated, and apparently he hadn't. That is him buried there. But the reason I thought he had got cremated was I looked it up online, and I'm pretty sure it said everybody was meeting at the crematorium. So if he was buried, why on earth would the family members be meeting up at the South Shields crematorium? That is very confusing. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, so I'm rising up again here, so you can see a nice view of all of this area here, and all of the houses, and the park, and the fields, and pretty much everything that's there. I don't think I've been up to 397 feet yet. Although, hang on, I might be telling a lie, because if you I'll start again. If you press the return to home button on the remote for the drone, the controller, the drone rises up to 397 feet in the air before it lands. It goes right back to where you are, and then it goes up 397 feet, and then it comes back down and lands. But I don't like to use that anymore, as I've mentioned in previous videos, because it goes right above you, and I can't look straight up when I'm standing because I have a vertigo condition. I'd fall over if I looked up straight up in front of us. And plus, when it's coming down, it could land on me. It could land on anything, really. The seat, a car, anything. So I prefer to land the drone manually, so I know exactly where it's going to go. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be careful, because if the battery runs too low before it comes back, you might not have enough battery to get the drone back to where you are to land it manually, and it'll want to land to the closest point where it is before the battery runs out. So I always have to keep an eye on the battery level. It's very important. You know what I'm saying? So here I am circling again. I think I'm doing a slightly better job this time than I was a few minutes ago in this same video. Slightly, not much better, but you know, because I'm doing this circling manually, because there is in fact a setting on the drone's app where you can do automatic circling shots, but I don't use that. I haven't used it yet anyway. And you can do a few other you know, fancy shots as well automatically, but some of them are very dangerous to try. There's a one called the Spiral, and it goes around in a circle. It starts off like close in and then starts going further away from you, or wherever you're pointing it at. So it gets wider and wider and spirals up in the air and comes back down again, spiraling downwards in a circle. And it's very, you know, how do you work it out? It could hit something flying out. You're not flying it at that point. It's automatic. It's doing it itself. It could plow, like slam into a tree or a building or anything, you know. So I've been hesitant to try that, you know. So I prefer to do everything manually, at least at this present time anyway, because I'm relatively new to the world of piloting drones, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm coming down fairly low here, as you might be able to see. I was hoping to get some shots like this in the Jarrow Cemetery, but like I say, there wasn't much room to maneuver because of all the trees. There's too many trees in there. Has anyone got a hacksaw? No, just kidding. But anyway, I like all the trees in Jarrow Cemetery, don't get us wrong. It's just no good for flying drones. It's a bit precarious, you know. So yeah, that's the only problem with that one. I might try it one day just to do some little short pieces, you know, low to the ground, you know, smooth, you know, floating shots above the graves, like similar to what I'm doing here, type of thing, you know what I mean? I tell you what would be a good idea. If you could get a drone with infrared night vision lights fitted to the front of it with an infrared camera, and then you could fly the drone around above the cemetery in the dark and get amazing footage in night vision, but from the drone's perspective. Do you not think that would be good? I think it would be good. It might add a bit of sorry about that, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Can't speak properly. I am a bit tired, so that might be it. What was I going to say? That might add a bit of extra weight to the drone, because mini drones are under 249 grams, you see. And if you add extra accessories onto it, it's going to increase the weight of the drone. And then new laws come into place if the drone is heavier than 249 grams, you see. So here I am, coming in and landing. I'm going to try and land on that little round thing in the middle of the path there, in front of the Kelly Memorial. It's like a landing pad. That's probably going to be me, you know, my main spot for taking off and landing when I do other videos in the cemetery, if I do any more, because it's handy. You don't have to take a landing pad with you, because there's already one there. You just aim for that little circle in the middle and try to land on it. So I just moved over a bit there because I was trying to get a better view of where I'm going to land without it landing too close to me, type of thing. So here I come, I'm coming into landing, and here we go. Will he be able to land on this circle? Let's see if he will or not. And I'm just having a bit of a pan around here. By God, that grass looks even greener here, doesn't it? Yes, it does, but it's extremely neat, like I said earlier. Very neat, prim and proper. So whoever's doing the gardening work on that's doing a damn good job. It's probably somebody from the Friends of Hebburn Cemetery. And I won't be putting this video in there, that's for sure. Because whenever I put any of my videos in cemeteries in the Facebook groups, I usually get bullied into the middle of next week. So it's not a good idea. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So that's it. The flight is complete. Okay, so the drone is once again back safe and sound down on the ground, and it's all packed away. So I'm not sure the flight went like really well because of the sun thing, with the sun being low in the sky. I haven't had that problem too much lately, but then again, in the evening lately the sun hasn't been out that much, to be honest with you. And I had another couple of near misses with some birds,
they seem to fly right towards the drone, and then when they see it, they sort of duck out the way and go under it or above it. But it's a bit worrying. And I had another bit where I could see the drone high up in the sky when I had it really high, right? But then I was looking at the screen, you know, doing the controls and working out my shots and all that, and I looked up again, I couldn't see it again. I panicked. It was there. I must have been looking up high enough. It was really high, you see. But it was there. I brought it down a bit and everything was okay. Panic over. But yeah, this is a really nice cemetery. So I hope you enjoyed some of these views of it from above. I'm going to head off back home now for something to eat as per usual. I was going to do another one, but the light's going a bit and stuff, and I need to get something to eat, you know. Can't run around all night on an empty stomach, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a pity I couldn't go over that end. I think if I want to do the other side, because this place is pretty big. I don't think it's quite as big as Jarrow Cemetery, however. But still, sitting where I am next to the memorials here, I'll show you where I am here. You probably saw when the drone was coming down. But I'm basically right next to the war memorials and the Lord Mountbatten Kelly Memorial here in Hebburn Cemetery. And by the way, for those of you who watch my channel on a semi-regular basis, because I think that's the only way anyone ever does watch my channel, on a semi-regular basis, or basically not at all. I still haven't found me Aunt Isabel's grave, and her son David will be in the same grave, I should imagine. I still can't find it. I'm going to have to phone up the council who looks after the cemetery. I think it's on the website. I've been meaning to do that, but I haven't got round to it yet. And by the way, this cemetery shuts in about 5 or 10 minutes, so I better get me skates on here. I don't want to get locked in with a bike, because I'll have to build a ramp to jump over the wall to get out, won't I? Because how else am I going to get the bike over the wall? It's about 6 or 7 foot high in some places. Possibly 8 around that side. I don't know. Something like that anyway. So, yeah. So, that has been my little flight. This is my first flight over any cemetery and in the cemetery. But there'll be plenty of more... Say that again. There'll be plenty more to come on my I can't speak properly. There'll be plenty more flights in and over cemeteries to come. I can assure you. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, can you give us a little like? And if you want to see some more videos in the future, don't hesitate to subscribe, and I'll really appreciate that. And you'll get a notification when I upload a new video. So thanks very much, everyone, and I'll catch you all next time on the next video, wherever that may be. So, ta-ra for now. Bye now.